Welcome to 2026. This is my first reading for the 2026 cycle, and it's all about the 10 energy of 2026, this new cycle that we are upon, as well as the energy of the fire horse, which comes from the Chinese calendar and the Chinese New Year, which starts in February. And I want to also say that a lot of this energy also reflects with the Mayan calendar, and this year we are in the yellow, which started from July, which is the yellow resonant seed year. And that is all about themes of truth and clarity, inner purpose and alignment. Also actions with one's higher self to cultivate abundance and spiritual connection, right? So when we merge the energy of 2026, which is the energy of 10, which is the energy of 1 and 0, we merge that with the energy of the yellow resonant seed. We merge that with the energy of the fire horse, and it's all really bringing us the same message. So let's get into the symbolism of this beautiful new cycle that we are upon. The year of the fire horse. Let's look at the 10 energy in that numerology of 2026 first. 10 is 1 and 0. And we tend to, in numerology and certain circles, we look at it as not just 1. It is the number 1. 1 plus 0 is 1. But we also, here's where we really discover and embrace the essence of 0 and the essence of emptiness. And I should say, not just the essence, but the value of the 0 and the value of emptiness. And we do actually have an opportunity to experience in real time what that 0 actually is, and how when we walk with the 0 and we connect with the 0 and we're in this field of the 1 and the 0, not just the 1 alone, how that impacts our life. So what is the 1? The 1 represents self, the individual. What is the 0? The 0 represents spirit. So we are walking with spirit. You're not just walking this path by yourself, but acknowledging the spiritual energies around you as well as within you. That includes, so many different things, right? And depending on which cultures and religions or spiritualities you attune yourself to, those spirits might be something different, right? That spirit or those spirits. As well as, let's also acknowledge that spirit, there's great spirit, and then they are also many individual spirits. So we can even use this cycle to really go deeper into our spirituality, whether that is through knowledge, or whether that is through application, or whether that is through learning, or just real life hands-on observation and awareness of our day-to-day experiences and how spirit is communicating and calling us, right? And how do we cultivate and call spirit to us as well, right? Let's also look at the energy of fire, right? Because it's the year of the fire horse. Before we go into that, but again, 10, the energy of 10. When we, again, in numerology, we go from 1 to 9. And once we finish that cycle, we just ended 2025, which was a 9-year cycle, which was the cycle of completion. And once we finish that 1 to 9, that journey of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then we start again, right? But we start again, not as 1, we start again with 1 plus something else. So we're starting out at a new level. And that's very important to remember as we navigate through this 2026 cycle. Even if it doesn't look like it, I always remind people, don't look outside of yourself, look within yourself. Don't always look outside of yourself or what's going to happen next and what your potential or the possibilities for life are by what's going on around you, but to, get into the habit of tuning in and developing your relationship with spirit so that you know and you can clarify what is for you and what's not for you. So even if something is happening, it might not be happening to you or for you. It truly might be for somebody else. Just because it's going on in the world doesn't mean it's yours. I've said in the past, not everybody's crisis moment is your crisis. And we have a tendency to attach ourselves to other crises when we are really experiencing a lot of peace and prosperity. So we have to be very aware of not attaching ourselves to other people's stuff that have nothing to do with us, right? So that 10 energy again is, hey, this is a new level. Not just a new beginning, but a new level. It's a new beginning at a new level. And that's very, very important to remember as we navigate this 2026 energy. And now let's look at the fire and the fire horse. So when I think of fire, I think of activation, I think of transformation, I think of purification, passion, inner power, willpower, divine presence, change, desire, discernment, and spiritual awakening. That fire is a drive. We're moving forward, but it's a drive to act. So that's a very big part of this year, 2026, this 10 energy cycle. It's what's driving you to move forward. What's driving you to act? Again, we just came out of the year of the snake where we shedded. And in that year, in reflection, I don't know if you noticed it, even though time is moving very fast, it called for a lot of slowing down. It called for stillness. And that's how the snake sheds. You don't see a snake moving as it sheds its skin. As it's shedding its skin, the snake is actually very still, right? So there was a stillness that we needed to embrace last year and to shed. And now that that shedding has happened, we're now moving forward like the fire horse, driving to act, right? And we're doing it through our inspiration and our thoughts and our innovations and our creations, right? And through transformation and passion and spiritual awakening, right? So, and also when we think of fire, they refer to fire too as the first God. So again, it's that spirit. We can't walk away from the spiritual aspect of this 2026 cycle. It's with the 10 and it's with the fire, right? It's going to require us to take the spiritual perspective, to tap into our spiritual bodies and beings. Again, the elevation, to become one with spirit, to join ourselves with spirit as we navigate, as we achieve, as we drive forward, as we purify, as we transform. We're walking with spirit to do all of these things. We're using and connecting that relationship with spirit to do all of these things. So this is not a year to think that, hey, I'm doing everything on my own and there's nobody who has my back. And even if you are in that situation, then universe has your back, spirit has your back, God has your back. You should now create that relationship so that you know, hey, if I'm not getting it in the human form, I'm getting the support, the connection through the spiritual form. And that is what will be the bridge for us this year. If we go back to 2020, and this was on my mind a lot today as I prepared this, if we go back into 2020, that was a 4-year, and it was setting the new foundation. And the big energy at that time was going beyond duality. And with everything that was going on in 2020, and all the ideologies started merging and melting and separating and coming into new forms, and everybody was spewing forth what they believed and what they thought, and all of these new ideologies as well as old ideologies were being put to the test. The challenge was to go beyond the duality. So now we're in the 10 cycle. That's 6 cycles up, right? So as we look at things now, again, with spirit, with a spiritual perspective, with a spiritually awakened awareness, we again are being asked to remember that we must continue to look at things beyond the veil of duality, especially it's already started as a very interesting and fiery type of year, right? So how do we even look at what this 2026 has started with? How do we look at these world events and maybe things that are even happening in our own lives in a multidimensional way? All right, so let's go. I'll explore a little bit more into the horse symbolism. The horse represents freedom. Your heart is pure and free. A greater purpose calls you. You have unlimited reserves of stamina and strength. You follow the winds of change and accomplish your dreams. I've personally claimed this year as the year of celebration and success. And as I was contemplating and reflecting with that over the last week, access came to mind. And it's, what are we giving ourselves access to? Or what do we have access to in order to create our success? What are we denying ourselves access to? And as I was speaking to someone, they were speaking about power. And I said, yes, celebration and success through access and power. And when you think of those things, celebration, success, access, power, that they all have that horse energy, right? That horse power, our drive moving forward. But this card specifically speaks about the heart of the horse. The heart is pure and free. A greater purpose calls you, and that you have unlimited reserves of stamina and strength. So again, it's a year of strength. It's a year of power. It's a year of stamina. It's a year of activation and purification. It's a year of getting closer to our higher purposes and greater callings, to follow the winds of change, because as we know, these years have been very windy years. A lot of changes are coming through this 10-year reset cycle, and again, which started for some people in 2020, some people a little bit earlier, but this 10-year reset between 2020 and 2030, there are a lot of winds of change for us to fly with and accomplish our dreams. So again, the theme doesn't change and the message doesn't change. So I just wanted to bring these to our attention so that we can try to ground ourselves with these perspectives and energies this year in January, as we are restoring ourselves and resting and planting seeds that will grow later, that we don't forget, and to build ourselves and ground ourselves with these energies, the energy of success, to say, you know what, I know I'm going to accomplish success this year and have things to celebrate, the start of things, the end of things, the continuation of things, the collaboration of projects and ventures, and just reaching to moments of celebration, celebrating myself, celebrating others, you know, and again, all of the symbolism of the horse. Okay, and just before we get into the actual reading, which I did using the Chinese oracle, before we get into that, those cards, just to bring up some more energies regarding the horse. The horse, even in this year, we are dealing with the fire horse, but also when we think of horses, and I remember when I visit the stables, right? We see horses a lot in two different forms, well, actually a couple of forms, but a couple things came to mind. Royalty. Horses represent royalty, right? So it's the year of the horse. You are the horse. You are the fire horse. So what are you driving forward to this year? What do you want more access to this year? And when we think of the horse, we're also thinking of the chariot, right? And it's the fire horse, but the horses and the chariot, and especially the four chariots, or four chariot horse, or is it a four chariot wagon, something like that, right? That represents, each of those horses also represent the elements. And this comes to mind just looking at this image here with the four horses. Each one could represent the fire, the earth, the air, the water, and the ether, right? So the four elements, and having access to the four elements as well. So I think that's important too. And connecting ourselves with the four elements, grounding ourselves with the four elements, because all of it, again, is your relationship with nature, is your relationship with spirit, and how you connect and use the elements, you know, and move through these different months that are also tied to these different elements and signs and symbols, right? So as we navigate the 12 parts of this cycle, we will go through all of those elements, the air, the water, the fire, and the earth, right? So being a activated fire horse, you can move through those 12 parts with ease and effortless vitality, all right? So as I get into the reading, hopefully more clarity will come, but y'all are going to be so excited about this reading. I really wanted to get into the fire horse energy. I know that this deck would have information about it. I wanted to just, like I said, this is my first reading for the year, and I used the Chinese oracle deck that I have, and I was going to pull out the fire horse just so that I could read it and just have that information for myself. So I decided, I started to shuffle, decided that I was going to do 4 cards, and one of the cards that came out was the fire horse, and I was super excited about that. Again, this is the year and the cycle of success and celebration. So it's not just the year of the fire horse, but you are the fire horse, navigating and moving forward, directing yourself through this cycle of 2026, through the cycle of 10. You are the fire horse. Okay, so if you have experienced my readings before, you might have experienced one of my medicine wheels. Medicine wheel, we look at the 4 directions. So we look at the south and the west. It shows us what we are shedding and releasing. And then we look at the north and the east, and it shows us what we are receiving and the outcome and what's coming into us. So what's going out and what's coming in, right? It's, again, a cycle. So the first card that came out was number 14, and it is the fire ox, and its symbolism is the beacon of light, the beacon of light. And of course I got excited because I saw the fire and I'm like, ooh, right? So this card is speaking to me, saying that we are releasing, right? Because it's in the south position. So again, what are we releasing from ourselves to others? our ideas and our inspirations. So the things that inspire us, we are now releasing those to others. And every now and then I look at that word releasing and look at it as not just a letting go, but a releasing, as in your rent. You're leasing something. So you're beginning something again, especially in this scenario with the 10 energy. So we are releasing to others from our heart, right? And the purity of our heart and the purity of our minds, our ideas and inspirations, right? These becoming beacons of light for others and guiding us forward in a very grounded and resourceful and practical way. Because the card is red, so I'm seeing a lot of root as well as sacral, as well as solar plexus energy here too. But the groundedness and the safety of the root chakra, and that we can thrive as opposed to survive, and that all our needs will be met, needs and wants will be met. And towards our creativity, the orange in the card, as well as our individuality and our authenticity. So being a beacon of light, using our uniqueness, our creativity, and knowing and trusting that we are safe and protected as we walk this path this year, as we experience the winds of change of the 2026 cycle. Creating from our imagination and our inspiration. And again, I wrote feeling safe, right? So what we're in essence shedding is, again, all of that stuff from last year that we decided and that we were clear about, that said, hey, we're not moving forward with this. I'm clear about this. I'm moving forward with that, with what shines bright in my life. And I know why I'm moving forward with this beacon of light. And I was guided to also look up the meaning of beacon. When I thought about it, I was thinking of a beacon, either something that you're moving towards, or that's something that you look towards, or something that you're carrying because you could be that beacon. We are beacons for other people. But the definition of beacon, ironically, is a fire or light set up in a high or prominent position as a warning or celebration, right? So if that's that celebration energy coming in, and the theme of celebration came to me months ago about when I was like, what is 2026 going to be like? Like, what's coming to me, spirit? Let me know what this year is going to be. And celebration and success kept on coming, and I would give it another week, give it another month, be like, what's 2026 going to be? Celebration and success. It kept on coming to me. So here it is again. Fire ox, a beacon of light. That beacon is in a prominent position as a warning or celebration, right? The beacon, with the beacon, what is the beacon is the ideas that are able to inspire ourselves and others towards earthly goodness, right? So we're shedding anything that is not in alignment with that, right? We're letting all of those things go. We're moving forward with the good stuff, with the light stuff, with the fire, right? With the transformation. We're moving forward with our transformations. And just because the year has ended, 2025, doesn't mean that we are no longer shedding. There is still stuff to shed. The African calendar starts in September. The Chinese calendar starts in February. The American/Caribbean calendar, I guess, starts in January. The Mayan calendar starts in July. So there are many new years and starting points, right? As well as what's the word? There's another new year, I think, that starts, I think, in April too, right? And yeah, I think there's a April Fools. I think that is considered a new year point for another tradition as well. So there are a lot of new years that we can integrate. And as we go into the reading too, through the numbers, this 7 energy is popping up a lot. And 7 is the energy of integration. Even with the Mayan calendar, yellow resonance seed, resonance is that 7th energy, right? So in order to resonate with something, you have to integrate your compassion, your wisdom, your knowledge, your understanding. It's not just a one-sided point of view. You have to integrate all that you know with also with what's coming into you as information and new information. So the fire ox, again, is that beacon of light. And so when I got the card, I'm looking at it and I'm just, looking at what it means to me and the messages that I'm getting. And then I also go into the book. So let's get the message directly from the book. What does this fire ox represent? The fire ox actually represents intuition and inner knowing. The main points I'll pull out is that consistency can help one to bring stability when life gets unpredictable. So that's the message from the fire ox, reminding us about consistency. How do we navigate this year? Be consistent. That will help to bring in more stability. Okay. Self-reflection to uncover wisdoms within. Dedication to our visions is key to our success and growth. Success as a theme again. Becoming an inspiration, sharing your story, your pitfalls and your sacrifices, your pains and your successes, right? So share your story, tell your truth. Again, your authenticity, that solar plexus energy. And maintaining a routine can serve as a guide to manifesting your dreams. So the importance of routines. What's your morning routine? What's your afternoon routine? What's your night routine? What's your weekly routine? What's your weekend routine? Different routines that we do and habits and patterns that really form our reality and play into what we are manifesting. Maintaining good routines that manifest our dreams. It's very, very important. So the previous card was number 14, which was that double seven. I told y'all there's a lot of sevens in this reading. And now the next card is, which is in the West position, which is what are we going to let die? Like, what are we just going to say goodbye to? It's number 55. And there's that 10 energy, 1 and 0, right? So what are we releasing? And who showed up in that position was the, I think it was the metal horse. Is it the metal horse? Sorry, the earth horse. Stirring of the cauldron, right? And I was like, what are we stirring up? What's stirring in your pot? So, and the whole energy of the chef came to mind, right? So if we look at the picture, we see he's in the mountains, right? He's in, and again, that high point, right? The mountains always represent higher learning, higher self, accomplishing or succeeding, overcoming the challenge, right? So he's in the mountains, he's climbing the mountains, right? He's grounding with the earth. He is mixing his pot. He is in creation mode there. He is stirring, and the horse is right there with him, right? So I said, what are you cooking up? What needs to be discarded? Because even when we're in the kitchen, I just, saw myself in the kitchen and when I'm cooking and mixing my pots, and you can actually hear somebody in the kitchen now mixing up some pots and cooking, right? And when we're doing that, we're putting things into the pot, but we're also putting things into the garbage, right? We're deciding, hey, what do I want to consume? And it's not just what's stirring in the pot, but what am I consuming, right? And I'm just thinking of all the beautiful aromas that come in as we stir those pots, and the cooking is coming, but also the agitation that is happening, right? The shake up sometimes too, because we are throwing things out and we're keeping things. So and we're changing, we're going through transmutation and transformation in that pot too, right? The stirring of the cauldron, all of that happens. And I think that the cauldron is a part of us. So we have cauldrons within ourselves. So it's the stirring of ourselves, the stirring of what's going on inside of you and above you and below you, and all of your essences, right? What are you cooking up? What needs to be discarded? What is being shaken up for this new process or for this new emergence of yourself, right? What alchemical processes are you now being initiated into, or your body being initiated to, or your mind being initiated to, so that you can arrive new, so that you can level up, right? And again, the stirring of the pot, I'm seeing not just what we're putting in the pot, but also what we're putting in the garbage. And making some soup, or you're making, whatever you're cooking, you'll cut off the edges or the head of the lettuce. You're cooking, you're scraping off the skin off of the potatoes or the carrots, and there's garbage and there's what you put in your pot. So us also making that distinction too of what do I need and what do I not need too. So what are we letting go? We're letting go all of the waste and the rubbish that is not healthy to our minds, bodies, and souls, and cooking up that good meal, right? I wrote selectivity and discernment, awareness and observation, moving forward with your new brew, all right? The chef. So again, we are the fire horse, right? We are the beacon, and we also are the chefs of our lives, the stewards, and we must be good stewards of our destiny, as well as our personal goals, right? And our journeys. We must steward these things for ourselves, right? We must steward our destiny. All right, so that's what I've got from this Earth Horse, directly from the book. The Earth Horse, the stirring of the cauldron, is actually what they call a 10 spiritual pillar in the Chinese zodiac. And this earth horse energy represents growth and expansion, strength, dedication, fueled by love and passion. Strength, dedication, fueled by love and passion. It reads that a warrior living its best life. That's what the earth horse is. A warrior living its best life. Feeling on purpose, doing the work, enjoying the journey, and in tune with his or her heart and spirit within. The earth horse is about divine guidance and our natural connection to higher powers. So again, like I said, he's in the mountains, right? He's connected to his higher self, his higher journey. He's connected to his mission. He's connected to the ground. He is someone in stillness, stirring the pot, retrieving information, getting divine guidance, right? It says to take stock of what is available to you, your talents, your skills, your experiences, your knowledge, your gained life lessons. Again, as we're chefing it up, we keep in some things, and some things we are absolutely saying no to, right? That's the process of cooking, right? Not everything that goes in the pot. It says to evolve into our own unique being through collaborations as well as teamwork. So that earth horse energy, stirring the cauldron, is very, very important. So what are we letting go of? Again, everything that's not in alignment with that, everything that isn't divine guidance, things that don't allow us to connect to our higher self. We're letting go of not knowing what's good for us and what is not good for us. We spoke about that in the beginning. We are letting go, not being authentic and feeling safe in our own unique being. We're collaborating. So remember at the beginning, I was saying this is not the year to be like, oh, no, I don't have any help. I don't have no one supporting me. No, go find your team, go find your tribe, go find your purpose, go find your calling. If you haven't found it already, if you have, step closer to it. You are supported, as well as sometimes we need to work with other people. We need to form teams, because even though you are destined to achieve things, we're not destined always to achieve things by ourselves. A lot of the stuff takes team efforts. Okay, so now we are in the north position. We're at the top of the mountain. We have the high perspective, and who is galloping into us? None other than the fire horse itself. And look at I love this message of the fire horse. Effortless vitality. Effortless vitality, right? And the wheel is really giving us a nice blueprint of how to navigate this 10 energy cycle. Be a beacon, right? Use your voice, use your inspiration, use your ideas to inspire and motivate others. And your own story, let your own story motivate and inspire you and others. Share your truth, be authentic. Let go of anything that is not in alignment with connecting to the earth, connecting to the elements, connecting to your higher self, being that warrior and being in your purpose and enjoying life and being on your journey, being in alignment and in tune with your heart and your spirit, getting that divine guidance, taking stock in your own life and seeing what's available to you through your skills and talents and knowledge and your own evolution into your uniqueness. And here comes the fire horse. The fire horse is operating at your prime. That's what I wrote. Operating at my prime, my best self. When I looked at effortless, what came to me was natural, being your natural self, using your innate talents. You don't have to put much effort into doing your God gifts and your talents and your passions and the things that you really love. Yes, it takes time to acquire the skill and to probably educate yourself with deeper knowledge and to study and to do your research into different fields. But even within that learning journey, it does come to us very effortless, as well as when we are manifesting with these tools and with our authenticity and using our uniqueness, things do manifest to us with less effort. And then vitality spoke to me in a way of, again, our power, our strength, our resilience, as well as our radiance, right? So combining those two things, effortless vitality. And maybe that's what the year should be, a year of effortless vitality, but not effortless in the perspective that I don't have to do anything, but that the work that I have done is enough to get me to where I am today. And at this new level, there will be more ease and vitality through my efforts in the past, right? That's always a good combination, that everything that we've been through in the past has not been in vain. And going back to the ox saying, share your story, share your pains, share your truth, share your journey, be that beacon, share your light. The difficulties and the challenges that we have gone through are part of our experiences, right? While I was working with this card, what came to me too is oh no, that's the next card. I'll get into that later. So that fire horse, I mean, we've already discussed the elements of the fire and the elements of the horse, but specifically what this fire horse effortless vitality really means. And let's go directly into the book for it, since it is the year of the fire horse. All right, card number 43 at that, and it's number 7. So 777 showed up, 777. As you can see, the 10 showed up, the 55. And this 43 card, it's about power and authority. It says to focus on purpose, passion, positivity, and joy. I'm going to read it directly from the book because it's the year of the fire horse. And Spirit was so kind to bring it through. Strong fire element dominates the fire horse pillar, bright, lively, and vibrant. Yang fire loves unconditionally and gives generously. The jovial horse, also a Yang fire sign, as a peach blossom star, is social, fun, loving, and blessed with charisma and a warm heart that naturally makes it the center of attention. So again, you are the fire horse. Walk as the fire horse this year, right? Be loving, be fun, be a peach blossom, be jovial, be generous. Practice unconditional love. Be the center of attention where it's comfortable for you, right? Show up with warmth and charisma. All this fire led to nervous energy and restlessness. However, especially after sundown, all this fire can lead to nervous energy and restlessness. However, especially after sundown, fortunately, there's a hidden yin earth inside the horse to help calm the excess fire, which can be accessed in times of silence and solitude. And we spoke about that silence and solitude, the importance of it, as well as again this year of 10, walking with spirit, being in stillness. We connect with spirit through stillness, through movement as well, because stillness as a concept versus a physicality, because even in dance and in music, we don't really think of music and song and dance as stillness, but we definitely connect to spirit through music and song and dance, and movements. But stillness through meditation, slowing things down, and silence, I guess, would be the better expression of it. So with all of this jovialness and fun-loving charisma and warm heart and all we can overheat. So we need to also have ways to release our energy and to calm down and to cool down and to rest, right? So this card talks about, using the sun energy during the day, but also being in balance and resting at night, and coming into stillness and accessing times of stillness and solitude. Again, we empower ourselves through access. We can give ourselves access to stillness and silence. And some people say, oh, I don't have time to do this and I don't have time to do that. But we have to give ourselves this access. This card is an enthusiastic message from the divine telling you that you're on fire. You're being noticed for your positivity and passion for what you do. Stay focused on what brings you happiness and let the inner joy that has inspired so many others be the fuel to living your purpose. The universe will always reward your light and generosity with more abundance and a continuous supply of energy. Manage that precious gift. Burn off excess energy with physical activities, and remember to slow down and rest every now and then to recharge and recenter. The fire horse pillar often appears in a reading to encourage you to follow your excitement, to stoke the fire within. Embrace what you love and say yes to new experiences to discover more joys. They may open new doors that lead to an even higher purpose. And as I was reading this information, I started saying it earlier because sidetracked, is that when we encounter horses, we see them moving and carrying things and that horsepower energy and racing, right? We see them as symbols of nobility and luxury, we see them as we see them resting. That's what I was about to say. When I go to the stables to visit the horses, they're always resting. They are in rest mode. And eating, they're restoring themselves. They're looking for the shade, and they're in rest mode. So as the card is saying, embrace what you love, say yes to new experiences, discover more ways of joy, slow down, rest every now and then to recharge and recenter. So even though we are talking about driving forward and having access to all of our energy and stirring up the cauldrons and being motivated and inspired and beacons, rest, recentering, and restoration to recharge is very, very important. It's a part of the balance. It's a part of walking with spirit, not being burned out. Right? The message from heaven is check in often with the heart for the state of the light within, the source of inner joy. What warms the heart keeps the inner fire burning. The message from the earth is the horse is a sign of vitality. Associated with the sun, harmonize your energy with sunlight, be most active during the day, and start winding down just before sundown. Remember the previous card talked about routines, right? So that fire horse could actually be encouraging us again to set up a new daily routine where again we're most active during the day, but as that evening time comes in, we are truly winding down. So look at your 24 hours, see, For me, it's completely different. I'm on my own clock. I work at night. Mostly, I was born 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I rise very late. Well, no, I wouldn't say that. No, not anymore. I actually get up early. I might not get out of bed until a little bit later, but I'm up and I'm alert. I'm awake. But again, this whole cycle might open up the opportunity, give us access to, changing up our routines a little bit to being more balanced and, connection with spirit, balance within ourselves and connection with spirit, right? Rise with the sun, set with the sun, right? So that's the fire horse energy. And last but not least, where does this all bring us? And that north energy again is what we are coming into. So whether it's this new year for you or next month's new year or April's new year or September new year, it's coming into everybody, right? This fire horse, effortless vitality. And what I loved about how the cards came out is that, we start by shedding and letting go things, but it's working us to effortless vitality. That's what we're working towards, to be more abundant, more efficient, but less work, right? And more strength. They say work smart, not hard. I think this is kind of like with that again, because it's not, you don't have to do anything, but it's effortless vitality, because vitality is all about our strength and our resilience and our radiance and our power, right? But it's effortless. It's natural to us. We don't have to spend so much time in it, you know what I mean? Or to achieve it. It comes to us naturally. It flows to us. And last, but definitely not to least, who showed up in the Eastern position? None other than the wood rat, which says, align with your purpose. Alignment to our purpose. That's it. Life is complicated, but yet so simple. Like, readings like this always remind me that the whole point of life is us achieving our purpose. We could make it out into something bigger or smaller, but after you cut out all of the drama, what you're really here for, you individually, is your purpose. Now you got to figure out what that purpose is. But once you figure that out, the more aligned you get to that purpose and in that position on your golden path, that effortless vitality is truly experienced. So the wood rat says, get on your golden path. And you see how that rat is in the forest, in nature. And what I'm seeing is the gold and the green, the vitality, the richness, the flowering. It's in nature and it's number 1. Okay. So the 1 showed up, the 10 showed up, right? And the 7 definitely showed up, right? So this wood rat energy is about wisdom and communication. And really, like I said, what was very, what kept on glaring out to me when I saw it was the golden path. That the end result is being on your path, aligning with your purpose, being in nature and connected to nature, being abundant, being vital and fruitful, and blossoming and flowering, and being very grounded. Like everything is there. Heart energy and solar plexus energy for sure, right? The gold and the green. Curiosity came to mind with this one. Curiosity, and the saying, curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back, reminding us that knowledge gained justifies the risk that we experience. Sometimes we think, oh no, it's not worth going through this, but we gained so much knowledge in the journey. Let me just read it directly from the book, because I remember there were things that definitely came to mind. But it is number 1, so it's the first card out of the deck, and it is about wisdom and communication, right? So, like I said, I think this is a really good blueprint for us all to use and to navigate this year, right? So let's get into the book. Aligned with your purpose. The wood rat as the first pillar in the sexagenary cycle of 60 pillars portends that a new beginning is in store. Wood is associated with the element of spring, and this card emphasizes stepping into a path of new growth. You've been doing the work and living in alignment with your purpose. The path ahead is clear, and it's time for you to take a step further in the direction of your dreams. Everything, 444, is as it should be, with heaven and earth in alignment in the wood rat pillar. Know that you are more than ready for the journey ahead. Your knowledge and skills will take you far. Keep learning to enrich your resources. The water element of the rat in the earthly frequency supports the yang wood in the heavenly frequency, creating a continuous cycle of growth. Adapt a beginner's mind to fully experience what's waiting for you on the other side. Be curious. Continue to be curious. And this is again just me. This is what is coming to me. Like I saw the rat, but I was like the mouse, and I don't know. And I guess the cat came to mind. It was like curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back, right? Like go and be curious about life, and as they're saying, like go discover the new stuff that's waiting for you on the other side, creating a continuous cycle of growth. Adopt a beginner's mind. The message from heaven is wood as the element of expansion supports a long-term vision and a growth mindset. Questioning, where do you see yourself in 5 years and 10 years from now? Like a tree, yang wood doesn't grow tall overnight, but keeps reaching higher as years go by. See each progress, no matter how small, as a stepping stone towards something greater. Message from Earth is, in the spirit of the rat, a yang water sign associated with oceans and seas, keep your eye on the horizon and your imagination far into the future. Take another step towards your dream and jump in. Don't overthink it. And I don't think I read that before. I thought I did, but I actually realized that I didn't. But it wraps it up so perfectly. It really wraps it up so perfectly. Keep learning, keep jumping, keep leaping, keep being you. Where do you see yourself in 5 years and in 10 years? And again, when we up level to another cycle, right? When we're back to another one, where do you see yourself in 10 years, right? 10 years from now would be 36, right? That feels like it doesn't feel like a 10 year, but 6 and 6 is 12. That's a 3 year. But anyway, however the math works out. But where do you see yourself in 10 years from now, right? But just that, again, that essence of 10 being, once you cultivate what you're supposed to do this year, where is it leading you to? Like, what can you do this year that puts you where you want to be in 10 years? I just got a journal for Christmas, and it's a 5-year journal. And I said to my mother when she gave it to me, I said, I'm going to write what I want to see or experience 5 years from now on the first day so that I could go back to it 5 years later and just see and look at that and observe that contrast or achievement, right? So again, where do you see yourself in 5 years? What can you do today that prepares you for 5 years from now? What can you do today or this year that prepares you to be in a better position or closer to your own goals 10 years from now? And what has been coming to me a lot is that this year is preparation for next year, but specifically looking at it as we put glasses on in hindsight and say to yourself, okay, if I could do 2020 again, what would I do for sure? Or what would I not do for sure that would put me in a better position today in 2026? And I feel like what we need to do now is really sit with that information in 2026 and say, hey, what do I need to do this year that could put me in a better position for 2027 and 2028 and 2029? Not really for this year, but what do you need to do this year that helps you to climb your mountain for the next 5 years, for the next 2 years, for the next 10 years? As they say, keep growing, keep learning. See each progress, no matter how small, as a stepping stone toward something greater. All right. So this was the beautiful medicine wheel of the Fire Horse year. And the Fire Horse graciously showed up to remind us that the goal and the support, not even the goal, but the support of this year and the energy that we can tap into this year and work with and work towards is, hey, effortless vitality. Let that be, if you haven't experienced that, if you're not experiencing that already, let that be your intention that you want to get to that destination of effortless vitality for yourself. How does that look for you? How does that feel for you? What does that even mean for you? And maybe the exercise could be that you actually write that out for yourself. How would my life look if I achieved effortless vitality? What does that entail for me and the people around me? All right, so just to wrap everything up, let's not forget that we started with the fire ox, and the fire ox said, it's time to be the beacon, right? It's time to be the beacon of your life for yourself and others. The earth horse said, stir up the cauldron, stir up the cauldron, decide what's good for you, what's not good for you, move forward, stay grounded, connect to the divine, connect to nature. The fire horse came in and said, hey, this could be done much more easily. And you could achieve effortless vitality through maintaining your authenticity, curiosity, creativity, being yourself, staying in your authentic power, living a life of joy, charisma, and that balance of having that. And let's not forget the warrior living his best life. Sorry, I skipped that part out. Being the warrior living his best life. A phrase that came to me in December was, while life is living, while life is lifing, live your best life. That was actually supposed to be the status, my status for a couple of days in December, or my theme for December, but I didn't. But I think it's going to be my theme for 20. Actually, I said to the person, that's going to be my theme for 2026. While life is living, live your best life. So I'm going to have to make a little graphic for that. Right? The warrior is saying, live your best life. Okay, go live your best life. And again, like I said, the fire horse saying to be vital, and you can do it with effortless. And the mouse, the rat, the wood rat saying, get on your aligned purpose, get on your golden path, and do what you come here to do. So really, that's the energy of this year, and that's why this year is very reminiscent of 2020, because it was a lot of chaos, but underneath the chaos, that was the underlying message as well. Just know yourself, get to know more of yourself, connect with your purpose, and just move forward in that direction. So the message is coming again, no matter how chaotic it looks out there. Remember what's important. Remember it's what's vital to your being, to your joy, your inner passion, your inner knowing, your inner fire. Do the things that fuel your inner fires in order for the outer manifestations. And last but not least, I was guided to pull from the sacred geometry deck, and I swear it took me right to where we began this. The sacred energy that came out, the sacred geometry that came out was sensitivity. And it says the frequency of sensitivity helps us open to the world of subtlety and detail while anchoring in a structured foundation. 2020 to here, right? We were anchoring a new foundation, but we were learning to integrate and to go beyond the duality point, to see and to feel the subtle energies, as well as, again, the 10 energy, the subtle energies, that is the unseen, and being able to be very comfortable with the unseen, the subtle energies, right? And being able to read those signs and symbols and messages and go into the subtle energies and receive information from those fields, right? And even when we look at this card, we can see that, okay, well, there's a circle, but there's a square behind the circle, there's a triangle, there's a diamond, but there's something in front of the diamond, there's something in the back of the diamond, there's blues and aquas and pinks, and, it's layered. It's not just left and right. It's not just a circle and a square. It's a star. It's a flower. It's a circle. It's a diamond. It's a pyramid. It's a 5-pointed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pointed star. It's so many things. It's so many things. The frequency of sensitivity helps us to open the world of subtlety and detail while anchoring in a structured foundation, thus supporting us to become more fully multi-dimensional. And here we are, right? So enjoy the journey, enjoy the process. I was listening to something, so I'll wrap it up with these 2 messages. While life is lifing, live your best life. And I hope I find the right words for this last one, because I just heard it yesterday, but it so resonated with me. And the guy was talking about reaping what we sow, and he said something along the lines of, forgot to turn my phone off. I never forget to turn my phone off while I'm recording, and I didn't, and I did that today because I didn't really plan to do this today. It just fell into perfect alignment. But it said, we don't. It says that we don't reap what we sow. That we use. What did he say? We use what we have sowed as we are reaping. I think it's something like that. So it's like you're not waiting for the reap. Again, I guess it's along the same lines as it's not about the destination, about the journey. But as we are sowing, we are cultivating what we are sowing for the reaping. I'm going to go listen to it again. Clearly, I need to. But it's about the journey, not the destination. So as we are on this journey of 2026, as we are fire horsing it and galloping towards the higher places, the new places, the new mindsets, the new realities of our own individual existence as well as collective, pick up the gems along the way. Don't make it all about the end result, but enjoy the process in between. Because as I say to people all the time, by the time you get to the end of the journey, it's not what you even set out to do. Because along the way, if you're not allowing the journey to transform you, you're missing out. It's the journey that transforms you. It's the sowing that transforms you. It's not about what you reap. It's about what you're actually sowing. And as we sow things, we are manifesting and bringing it all together. Welcome to the year of the fire horse.